Hello and welcome Taekwondoins for all around the world. I welcome in particular all our ITF officials, grandmasters and masters. My name is Gerardo Rosell, and together with Master Florencia Manifesto, will be your moderator for this session. Florencia?
Okay, well, I say hello again. Hello and welcome to everyone. I'm really happy to have you all here joining this big event. It has been, we have been here for many hours, and it has been great to find to find a presentation so insightful. So today is truly a historic day, April 11, 2025, marking 70 years of Taekwondo. Whether you are joining us from Asia, Europe, the Americas, Oceania, or Africa, we are honored to have you here for this 24-hour global online celebration. Taekwondo is more than just a martial art. As we all know, it's a philosophy, it's a way of life, and a force that unites people across cultures, languages, and generations. From the moment General Choi Hong-Hee founded Taekwondo in 1955, it has spread to every corner of the world, empowering millions through discipline, perseverance, and indomitable spirit. And today, as we celebrate our 7th decade of this martial art, it is not coincidence that this event lasts 25 hours, just like the 25 pattern of Taekwondo. Each pattern representing the 25 hours of a day, symbolizing the entirety of a life dedicated to self-improvement, learning, and perseverance. What to expect? Okay, within 25 hours of this online celebration event, you will experience insightful discussions, training sessions, and stories from Taekwondo legends. Our esteemed speaker will explore the rich history of our art and exciting future in the lies that lies ahead. Whether you are here to learn, whether you are here to connect, or simply to be inspired, we know that this is the event for you. So, Gerardo, we can move to the next pattern?
Yes, in this 13th section, we start with the 13th pattern, which is Eui-Am. That is an amazing performance of Eui-Am by Bo Rook for Netherlands. The pattern representing this hour in our 24-hour global celebration. Just as each pattern holds deep meaning and symbolism, each session today brings new insight in the past, present, and future of Taekwondo. Now it's time for our next speaker. For this session, we are proud to have Nicholos Dusard from Jamaica, who will share in the life lesson of Eui-Am, Taekwondo beyond the ocean.
Hello, everybody. Before I start, just so you guys know, I'm going to do a PowerPoint presentation on the life of Eui-Am. But before I started, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who is in charge of setting up this amazing event. 8 years old Nicholos Dusard would be very proud. I remember in 1999, the Jamaican team went to the World Championships in Argentina. And all I could see at that time were they brought back some photos of just your journey and what they were doing. So many photos, and that was such a big inspiration to me. And I always, back then at 8, I am like, this is what I want to do. And I remember my instructor, Master Peter Lou, said to me, said, don't worry, your time will come. And if 8-year-old me was looking at me now and being able to be a part of such a monumental event, I think he would be proud. And so I just want to say thank you for everybody who is involved and those who asked me to be a part of this presentation. I'm really honored and thankful that I could be here. And I just hope that whatever I share today, that it resonates with somebody and somebody can get something from it. And as I go through, if there are any comments that you have, just please leave them in the chat. I'd love to read them out at the end. I'll be sharing my life through the eyes of Eui-Am. And if you guys see any parallels with your life or things you've been through, just drop that in the comments so we can read that out. So funny story, initially when I was asked to be a presenter, I just selected a time slot, and whatever time slot, whatever pattern dropped in that time slot, that's the pattern that I was going to be at. But at the time, daylight saving time wasn't yet. So I wanted to present at 1 p.m. in Canada, right? It's now 2 p.m. in Canada, which actually doesn't work for me because I'm supposed to go and pick my daughter up. But because this happened, I kind of feel like Eui-Am kind of chose me, you know? And so when I started to just look into the history of Eui-Am, it kind of really spoke to me, and I just wanted to share something that's meaningful to me. And so instead of like preparing to do some sparring or something, I just wanted to share a part of my life and how Taekwondo has affected that. And I really hope that you guys enjoy it. And if there's anything that you guys take away. And then in the end, if you want to share something back with me of how this pattern may resonate with you, that would be amazing. And I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through these slides and let's have some fun. We'll interact a little bit. And I hope you guys really enjoy it. All right, I'm going to share now. Let me know, are you seeing, I want you to tell me if you're seeing my screen.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. All right, that's okay. So yes, my topic today is the life of Eui-Am, the life lessons of Eui-Am, Taekwondo beyond the Dojam. I'm going to give you guys just a run through overview of what I'll be talking about and how this will flow. So I'll start off with an introduction, some key symbolism for Eui-Am, the journey of Eui-Am, my journey with Eui-Am, personal connection, historical context, philosophical, the relevance of the pattern to practitioners. Then we're going to, the main focus of the presentation will be on the key life lessons of Eui-Am, and we're going to cover that in 3 parts: leadership and responsibility, resilience and overcoming challenges, moral courage and advocacy. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, and this is the part where I want anybody who's willing and are welcome to share like your Eui-Am moment after we go through. Yes, if you care to share, you can share that, and then we'll conclude the slides, and then we can have a bit of interaction if time allows. All right, so we're going to jump straight into what Eui-Am is. We just saw the pattern. Bo did a fantastic performance as she always does. So we're just going to go through just some of what's the meaning of the pattern and how the symbolism of it. So Eui-Am is the 13th pattern in the ITF Taekwondo syllabus. As you know, this is the 13th presenter. This is the 13th hour. It's named after Song Byung-hai and represents his efforts in promoting Korean independence and national identity, especially through the March 1st movement in 1990. So just take these information and then we'll tie it back later on in the presentation. This movement was the main event in Korean struggle for independence from the Japanese. And then Eui-Am has 45 movements. The movement symbolized his age when he changed the name of the Oriental culture religion to the Heavenly Way religion, aiming for Korean spiritual and national revival. The pattern's diagram resembles a scholar's pen, reflecting Song's influence as an intellectual leader. This is what I found. For me, when I look at the pattern, the techniques in the pattern emphasize balance, stability, and precision, representing the discipline and determination needed for national and personal freedom. All right, so before I go further into you, I'm just going to give you guys kind of my journey, where I'm coming from, who I am, so then we can see how tying back my personal life into Eui-Am and how that really fit with me and how I feel like, why I feel like Eui-Am actually chose me instead of me choosing Eui-Am. Okay, so this is me. I am Nicholos Dusard. I am from a humble background in Jamaica. I was raised by a young single mom. My mother was 17, and she worked relentlessly to provide for me, right? Life wasn't easy. We didn't have much, but one thing we always had was love, grit, and determination. And watching her hustle every day taught me how to do that. If I wanted something, I needed to do one thing. And for those who maybe has interacted with me, whether on social media or in person, you know that my mantra, something that I walk around saying a lot, is do the damn work, which kind of it means work hard, right? If there's something that you need, put the work in to achieve it. And that is a big part of what Taekwondo is. Like, sometimes it's hard work, classes are hard. Teaching is hard, but you have to put the work in if you want to get to where you want to go to. And just watching my mother hustle every day taught me that if I wanted something, I had to do the damn work. And then I discovered Taekwondo at 8 years old. And like I said, 8-year-old me would be very happy that I am able to be a presenter in such a big occasion for Taekwondo, right? I discovered Taekwondo at 8, and it became more than just a martial arts to me, right? It became my discipline, my outlet, and eventually my voice. So through years of training, I didn't just learn how to kick and punch, right? Like the way, you know, I learned how to lead. I learned how to be resilient and how to face the world with courage and control. And that is why, like I spoke, that is why Eui-Am resonates with me so much, because of the history of the pattern. So like, just for like some, I'm shaped by struggle. He was shaped by struggle, right? He led a nation under oppression. I had to learn how to lead myself out of limitations, right? He stood tall for what he believed in, even when it was dangerous. And I stood tall when everything around me tried to pull me down, right? So there are just some parallels that I saw with the pattern that really spoke to me, and I gravitated to it. He led with integrity and purpose. I train and I live with the same values every single day. Eui-Am teaches that leadership isn't just about status. That was big for me. It's about sacrifice, conviction, showing up even when it's hard. And that, I really think, has been my journey. So when I perform Eui-Am, I'm not just honoring the Korean history or just the history of Taekwondo itself. I'm honoring my history and my mother's strength and the warrior spirit that lives in every person who chooses to rise above their circumstances. Because to me, Taekwondo is life, right? And life demands, like I said, that you do the damn work. When a good friend of mine, who is also a Taekwondo practitioner, Sabum Akim Lawrence, he often says that some of us young men who grew up in Taekwondo, who Taekwondo changed their lives, that we were supposed to be a part of the statistics of men who did not make it. And because of our hard work and the help of our instructors and people helping us in Taekwondo, we were able to be out of those statistics and become men who could lead, or men who could get things done, right? So that's a big thing for me, which is why I am presenting on Eui-Am and myself at the same time and just kind of marrying the two. So yes, so that's enough about me for now, and we're just going to run through the historical context of the pattern itself, and so you can get some background of where Eui-Am came from and who the person was who Eui-Am was named after, right? So who is Song Byung-hai? That's who the pattern is named after. He played a key role, as I mentioned, in the March 1st Independence Movement of 1919, one of Korea's most powerful nonviolent protests against Japanese rule. His leadership of the Heavenly Way religion helped to unify Koreans around a common and national spirituality. Eui-Am embodies. Eui-Am is not just a physical sequence of movements, right? It embodies the moral courage, the leadership, the inner strength required to stand up against injustice. These values align perfectly with the tenets of Taekwondo: courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. And you might think I'm just giving you historical information that you could just read inside the encyclopedia, but we're going to bring it together of why is it relevant to people who are practicing the pattern, right? And for me, this is what I found, like the relevance to practitioners. Eui-Am serves as a reminder that martial art is not just about fighting. It's about discipline, self-awareness, and using strength for good. It encourages practitioners to apply martial art values in their everyday lives, becoming not just skilled fighters, but responsible, ethical individuals. So this is relevant to everybody's everyday life. You know, are you trying to be a better person? Are you trying to stand up for what is right? Are you trying to be the best version of yourself, right? Not to compare yourself with anybody else, but the best version of Nicholas. Am I doing that? Am I living in a way where I can be that person? I'm going to now go through the key lessons that I learned from just looking through Eui-Am and exactly why I just saw myself in the pattern. Not me doing the pattern, because those reverse turning kicks, the high ones, to stick them like Bo just did, it's not something that I think I would go over really well. But just in terms of the leadership and responsibility that I saw from the pattern and from Song, the resilience and overcoming challenges lessons, and the moral courage and advocacy. These are the lessons that I found, and we're going to go through them one by one. And how I'm going to look at this is, I'm going to look at the pattern and the movements in the pattern and say, hey, how do I see anything aligned with leadership? And then how did Song show leadership, and how has Nicholas have to develop some form of leadership in his life? And then maybe just bring it back to everyday life, like how can I find my Eui-Am moment and put the Eui-Am moment to work in my real life. And for everybody, if you have any comments, or when I do the first topic, say leadership, if you have any stories or you have any memory of any time that you had to show leadership or responsibility, you can just, we'll use the number 1 for that, for leadership. So you can drop a 1, or you can leave a comment and just tell us the story so we can read that out afterwards. So we just jump on over to leadership. So, and this is for me, right? Like what it means to me, leadership. Leadership isn't just about being in charge. It's about choosing to act with purpose, integrity, and courage when others hesitate. It's about owning your role, whether that's in your family, your community, or within yourself, because you have to lead yourself, right? Eui-Am teaches this kind of leadership grounded in discipline and vision. That's the pattern itself, right? That's leadership, right? And that is seen from the pattern. How do I see this in the pattern? Let me talk you through it. So the symbolisms of leadership in the pattern. The Eui-Am pattern is structured with control, reflecting the qualities of a true leader. That's calm under pressure, deliberate in movement, and adaptable in stance. Calm. Just think about the slow motions for those for the turning punch. the control and calm that you have to do that reverse turn and kick in, the different motions where sometimes it's a slow motion, then it's a normal motion, just how deliberate each movement is, how many different stances you have to adapt to. Those are actually the qualities that a leader needs to be calm under pressure, very deliberate with what they're doing, and the adaptable in stance, what they do, how they move, right? The pattern begins and ends at the same spot, like all our patterns. That's the intent of our pattern, kind of symbolizing that a leader who is rooted in principle, no matter where the journey takes them, right? You're rooted in principle, you come back to your core values. You come back to the same spot, you come back to your core values. Transitions, and then the transition between movements reflect the need for leaders to remain fluid, yet focus on action and awareness. Now, you can think about if you've had a goal and you have a group, a team that you're with, and you guys have a goal, you have something to achieve, and something comes in the way, there's an obstacle, and you have to remain fluid. You have to find a way to get around those obstacles, but you have to still be aware of what the goal is and still be focused enough to get to that goal that you had set, right? So this is the pattern itself, just the movements, and just looking at it, it's such a graceful pattern. This is what I got from the leadership part. Now, if we move to how Song showed his leadership in his movement at a time when fear and silence were the norm, Song chose to step up, right? Like, just remember, you can be silent, and that is making a choice, right? That is a choice. He didn't wait for others to act. He accepted the responsibility to lead Korea's fight for independence. He took the moral high ground, advocating for change through peaceful means and a spiritual unity. He understood that leadership was not convenience, right? It was commitment. Like, it's not always going to be on your terms. It's not going to always be on your terms. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your comfort, and that is what he did. He sacrificed his comfort and his safety to stand for something bigger than himself. And leaders often, even though they lead from the front, it's more one to protect the people behind them, right? Because what's behind them is much bigger. The cause is much bigger, and that is what Song did, and that's the true meaning of leadership. And so I just want to take from him and then see how have I been faced with that? Have I been put in any situations where I have needed to be a leader, show good leadership qualities? And when I looked at it, look at me and just look at my past, growing up in tough environments in Jamaica, with a young single mother, I had to grow up fast and lead myself before I could lead anybody else. So when I was young, I went to school in not the greatest area in Jamaica, where a lot of the kids from that school, if I don't have the correct percentage, but I do think like 90% of those guys didn't go to like the best high schools, right? Or turned out to go to university or stuff like that. And that was my environment. And a lot of times we are consumed by what is around us. And I had to know in myself that, boom, I want to be more. I want more. I have to do more. Yeah. Taekwondo taught me what leadership looks like. So no, my instructors, my role models at the time, they really showed me what leadership looks like, because I actually found in Taekwondo a group of people who were actually actual leaders who I could learn from. And they taught me what it looks like, being an example when no one is watching, encouraging others when you're struggling, and staying disciplined when it's easier to slack off. At about green belt, I did do blue belt. I did do a little bit of slacking off, and you know what happened? My instructor pulled me up and he said, "Hey, listen, you may be as talented as you are, but you need to get disciplined and focus and work," right? So I became someone others could look up to, but that wasn't by accident, right? It was It was by putting in the work, staying focused, and embracing responsibility, even when it felt heavy. And so for me, I felt that I'm a part of Eui-Am. Eui-Am is now a part of me. And you may ask, okay, how this then goes to the real life application? Like I said, leadership shows up in everyday life. At home, if you are at school, if you're at work, in your community, it is about showing up and doing what's right. Even when there's nobody clapping, there's nobody applauding, there's nobody cheering you on, or when you're by yourself, that's when it's most important. Like responsibility means being accountable for your actions and setting an example for others. So whether you're guiding a team to the European Championship, the World Championship, to whatever championship, or you're raising a child, or you're simply trying to live your life and you're trying to be a leader of yourself, you're trying to live with integrity. Leadership begins with owning your role and doing the damn work. For me, a true leader doesn't wait on the right moment. They create it. They take responsibility not just for themselves, but for the world they want to build. And that's what Eui-Am teaches, and that is what I strive to be in my actual life, in my own life. So if anybody again has any stories about where they had to show leadership from based on this and a Eui-Am moment and leadership, I want you to drop a one in the comment section, or just like type it out, because we'd love to read it at the end. That would be amazing. Now I'm going to move on to the second lesson that I learned, which is resilience and overcoming challenges. Resilience, what's that? This resilience is the ability to keep moving forward even when circumstances are against you. And as I was watching Master John's talk on an adaptive program, this like really spoke to me, and the resilience. Like sometimes we think it's so difficult what we have to go through, and then we see a different point of view. Like those kids, they're amazing, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree. I saw the comments and you guys are cheering them on, and just how resilient they are to do chunji in a chair. Like it's hard for me, you know, and that was just something that really spoke to me, and I knew I was going to speak on this, and I just thought I had to mention it. Yeah, so resilience is the ability to keep moving forward even when circumstances are against you. So how do I see resilience in the pattern, right? The 45 movements of Eui-Am represent not just a number, but a journey through discipline, endurance, and purpose, right? Those 45 movements represents the age that Song was when he made the change of his religions. And that was his journey at the time, to make that change so he could then get Korea to where they wanted to be, which was independent. Each movement in the pattern moves into the next, it flows into the next, often shifting directions and stances, just like life demands, that we adapt. And so I knew I was going to say this adapt bit in this talk. And then so when I saw the adaptive program, this really kind of rang a lot of bells. It demands that we adapt and push forward, and that's exactly what the adaptive program is doing. That is Taekwondo, right? Adapting and pushing forward. So practicing the full pattern requires focus, control, physical endurance, especially as you progress through patterns. Generally in Taekwondo, you have to have all these, the higher rank patterns, difficult techniques. It's a test of both body and mind. And how did Song show his resilience, right? So as a leader, during the Korea's occupation, Song faced imprisonment, exile, and constant threats. So that is what he had to undergo in order for Korea to get their independence. But despite all of these obstacles, he continued to fight for Korean independence through peaceful, spiritual, and intellectual means. You know, that's like, and I'm sorry because this is so powerful for me. Just like those adaptive kids, man, like they're in a chair, and some people just don't feel like they want to go train. Oh, I'm sleepy. These kids, they go above these obstacles because they have something to fight for, right? And his persistence in the face of overwhelming odds is a powerful reminder that true strength comes from refusing to give up. And that's what resilience is, never giving up. And I want to then take that into where I see myself in all of this. How did I see this? Why did I have to learn this? Like Song, my journey has been filled with obstacles too, right? I didn't come from wealth or comfort. You know, I came from hard beginnings in a world that didn't hand me anything. And that's okay. That's okay. You just, like I said, it's all about going through those obstacles. And I've learned that Taekwondo taught me that resilience isn't just about surviving, it's also about thriving. It's through the pain, sweat, and sacrifices. And a lot of the practitioners on here, you guys can look at yourselves and know, like, how hard is it to get to whatever degree it is that you are, whatever belt rank it is, the work you put in. That in itself is resilience, right? And I faced days where I wanted to quit too. I didn't feel like it. And that's a big part of our everyday life. I don't feel like it. Oh, I need to train today. I don't feel like it. Oh, I don't really feel like going to work. I really don't feel like that's a big thing, right? But I kept going. Just like the pattern teaches us, keep moving. You have to go from 1, 2, 3 before you can get to 45. Keep adjusting and never stop fighting. And just the persistence in the face of overwhelming odds is a powerful reminder that truth, strength comes from, again, refusing to never give up. And so now I want to take this into real world, like what's happening. Yeah. Resilience is here, real world. In your career, school, relationships, and your personal development, resilience is the bridge between failure and success. So there was a tournament on Saturday, and I had some kids competing, and they were going to spar, and a few of them were so afraid of getting in the ring to spar. And some of these are really good kids. They're really good kids competitively, I mean. They generally do pretty well at the competition, but they're so fearful of failure that they started to cry before they even competed, right? And sometimes you just need to be resilient and go do it. And that's something that I had to be strong on with them at the competition, right? Because they see not winning as failure, and that is permanent. And I'm trying to show them that, like, this isn't permanent, right? It's not failure. It's, yes, you didn't win, but when you give up is when you fail. If you're resilient enough, if you have enough grit and you continue and you work and you work and you work, then you can define your own success. We all face rejection, hardship, and fear, but resilience means showing up anyway. Just like we push through the tough training sessions or finish a pattern, when we're tired, we must just face life and with the same spirit, same grit, same thing. So if you, now we're going to go for number, hello?
Yeah, you have still some time, 5 minutes more.
5 minutes more?
Yeah, and then if anyone has any question for you.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, no problem. I only have one more anyway. Yes, 5 minutes works. Okay, yeah, so resilience is not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. It's about finishing what you started. It's about doing the damn work, no matter how hard it is. Yeah, and again, if you have any stories here, I want you to drop a 2 or drop the stories in there about resilience and when you had to do that before we move into the moral courage and advocacy of the pattern. So, right, so what's moral courage? Moral courage is strength to stand up for what is right, even when it's unpopular, risky, and uncomfortable. It's a decision to act with integrity when it would be easier to stay silent. Yeah, and advocacy is the act of using your voice, your actions, and your influence to support others or fight for a cause. Both of these values are deeply embedded in Eui-Am. So let's go into it and see how that is showed in Eui-Am itself. So Eui-Am movements are calculated, they're deliberate, they're purposeful, not rushed, not aggressive. This reflects the idea that true courage is controlled, not chaotic. There's a strong balance between attack and defense, as our patterns are, which symbolizes standing their ground and protecting values rather than always just attacking aggressively or reckless. The patterns diagram represents a scholar's pen, symbolizing that words, knowledge, and peaceful resistance can be just as powerful as physical force. Let's see how Son shows this courage here. In a time when speaking out against Japanese rule again could cost him his life, he still decided to be one of the 33 signatories of the Korean Declaration for Independence. He advocated for peaceful resistance through spiritual and national unity, even when others chose violence or silence. His action shows moral courage, and it isn't about being fearless. It's about, though you feel fear, it's about doing what's right despite all that fear. He didn't just fight for himself, he fought for generations to come, which it embodies what it means to be an advocate for justice. Tie that in to my own story, my own moral courage. Growing up in tough environments, I had to make decisions early that weren't always easy. You know, it would have been easy to just follow the wrong crowd, but my mother showed me what it was like, sacrificing her own comfort for mine. Taekwondo definitely confirmed and taught me to stand firm in my values. So as a black belt and a martial artist, I am now an advocate for others, like I just mentioned about my students, you know, setting an example and speaking through truth through my actions. And real life, take it into real life. This is needed in everyday workplace, social media, relationships. Just stand strong, defend those who can't defend themselves, choose to have integrity. That's pretty much it, right? Moral courage is choosing hard right over easy wrong. That's it. Advocacy is using your voice and values to lift others up. Eui-Am teaches us not just to fight, but to fight for something that matters, and that's exactly what I tried to do. Now we can I'll go to the closing and then we can just take some questions. I just wanted to conclude that we've journeyed through the story and meaning of Eui-Am, a pattern built on legacy of Song Byung-hai, a man who led with integrity, stood firm through adversity, and used his voice for justice and unity. But more importantly, we've seen how those values, leadership, resilience, and moral courage, aren't just historical ideas. They are life lessons we can carry into our schools, our families, and our workplace within ourselves. Eui-Am is not just a Taekwondo pattern, it's also a mindset. It's a reminder that no matter where you come from, what struggles you face, or what stage of life you're in, you have the power to lead, to endure, and to stand up for something bigger than just yourself. And as someone who started with humble beginnings, who learned the value of hard work and from a strong single mother, who found purpose in Taekwondo at a young age, this pattern speaks to my own journey. It reminds me that success isn't promised, but it is earned. And It's earned through grit, heart, and the courage to show up every single day. So as I leave you here today, I want to leave you with this. Find your Eui-Am, live your values, and no matter what comes your way, do the damn. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. That was really, really amazing. And I think that it was great to see how we all of us can see reflections of our own life whenever we see we are analyzing or understanding what any pattern means. So I really like your exposition. I don't see any question right now. If anybody has any question for Sbn Nicholas. I only see brilliant presentation. Thank you. I am very happy to be involved on this. Couldn't agree with you more. So I think that it has been a successful story. Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Take care.